I'm delighted to be with you at this SDGs Action event. The SDGs continue to be our blueprint for a sustainable future. We're all here because we're committed to bringing about the reality of the 2030 Agenda to life and ensuring that we live up to the shared ambitions and the promises that we set out in September 2015. If anything, our world has become even more complex since then, and our challenge is an opportunity to work better together. Every day we see the growing dangers of climate change, the growing risks of rising inequalities, the growing drumbeat of hateful rhetoric and xenophobia, and the growing challenges brought about by mass movement of peoples. All of this and more make the 2030 Agenda our shared roadmap of a people-centered and planet-sensitive future for everyone, everywhere, much more critical than ever. I'm pleased that the Sustainable Development Goals in Action has become a critical feature of the World Government Summit. You help bring together stakeholders to examine key challenges and opportunities in implementing the SDGs, and also to identify potential innovative solutions and approaches to financing the development agenda. The good news is that we see the momentum of a movement to embrace the SDGs from all levels of government and society today. But we also know that there is more to the story. At the current pace, the world is off track from achieving the 2030 Agenda, and that is why I very much welcome your action-oriented focus on the importance of leadership in achieving the SDGs. The SDGs still remain a beacon of hope. Properly addressed, they will be the transformation that is required for development to take hold and to benefit all. Ensuring progress for people, planet, prosperity, peace, and partnerships that really do leave no one behind. While in many countries progress is being made, sadly, in many other parts of the world, we are beginning to see some regression to commitments. Delivering on the SDGs will require leadership, transformation, and inclusive leadership. Leadership that was on full display when heads of state and governments adopted these historic and far-reaching goals in 2015. Leadership today is going to require us to take tough decisions that will demand an end to the business as usual. It will call on us to move out of those comfort zones and embrace innovative ways of working, thinking, and leading from the front. Many of you here understand that, with many unparalleled leaders in the field in this audience today. So let me perhaps take advantage and zero in on 5 key areas that I think will help in the discussion. First, that we need to step up the commitment to shared experiences, tools, and report on progress, the good and the not so good, learning lessons and not seeing them as failures. At the global level, the UN High-Level Political Forum is an important platform for sharing experiences, lessons learned, ideas, and knowledge, and for making the necessary connections between people working on the various parts of the SDGs. Each year, through the voluntary national reviews, member states have presented their assessment of SDG progress, providing a stock-taking of SDG implementation and showcasing political leadership and the momentum in support of the agenda. We must continue to make the most of these platforms that provide robust data and evidence to identify gaps and mobilize actions to accelerate transformational change. We must also do this in a timely manner. The current time lags that we see in data will not help make the case for timely investment that is needed for targeted interventions. The High-Level Political Forum Summit this September is going to be a key moment, providing the global community with our first stocktake of global progress towards implementing the SDGs. We're encouraging all countries to actively engage in the preparations of the High-Level Political Forum this year and invite them to engage at the highest political level in September, which incidentally also includes 5 really important issues that will be discussed in other summits: the Climate Action Summit, the Health Summit, the Financing for Development, and the Samoa Pathway, which really shines a light on those countries that are left furthest behind. Second, we need to do more to ensure effective, inclusive, and accountable public institutions. By that, we mean institutions built on strong and transformational leadership at the local, national, and global levels. We mean a public service that is built on trust, integrity, transparency, and accountability. The vicious cycle that leads to poverty and inequality is often connected to a lack of access to public services, inadequate capacities, non-inclusive institutions, and poor governance. This goes beyond improved service delivery to ensuring that all citizens are enabled to fully realize their basic rights to education, health, water, sanitation, and the list does go on. This means that we must step up our efforts to ensure that our citizens, especially our women, our girls, and the youth, are given a seat at the table and included in the shaping and implementing of our development aspirations. Only then will we be able to capitalize on this crucial opportunity of transformational change. Third, we need to strengthen the commitment to national and local level ownership. Heads of state and government are essential in guiding SDG implementation at national and subnational levels. In many countries, effective leadership is bringing encouraging progress. SDGs are being incorporated into national constitutions and development plans, but there is more systematic coordination across sectors, ministries, departments at the lowest levels of government. A whole-of-government approach is increasingly no longer simply a buzzword. We live in an era of seismic changes in our demographics, in the way in which our communities are shaped, in the way in which we use our natural resources. Cities, local governments, authorities, and public servants, mayors, can and must be powerful drivers of economic, social, and environmental transformation. Indeed, local government networks around the world are taking important steps to bring the 2030 Agenda closer to people. We look forward to the Local Action for Commitments Forum on the margins of the High-Level Political Forum Summit this year, and to see all those meetings that we have here today and in different platforms that we have inform what we have in September. Fourth, we need to boost support for multi-stakeholder partnerships, notably leveraging and harnessing the contributions from civil society organizations, our academia, and the private sector. To put it simply, in addition to a whole-of-government approach, we need a whole-of-society engagement to build effective and sustainable partnerships and networks for action. This will result in many gains that the individual and collective lives of our people that will have a difference made in them. For example, more and more businesses today are aligning their strategies with the SDGs and assisting governments in driving national implementation for climate action. Across the globe, the private sector is galvanizing its efforts in the 2030 Agenda and connecting the SDGs with innovative business solutions in agriculture, nutrition, water, energy, and a whole lot more. Through investments conducive to achieving the SDGs, businesses and their leaderships can create jobs and empower, more especially, our women. They can boost education with relevant skill sets and embrace more responsible patterns of consumption and production. They can contribute to a pattern of growth that ensures the protection of our environment and preservation of our planet, and support the stable societies that in the end deter a lot of the violent extremism that we see in our world today. And of course, they are critical to helping tackle many of the underlying causes of displacement like climate change. There is a growing interest in sustainable investment and innovative instruments, including social impact investments. The financial sector can harness this movement to drive change in the way that the private sector operates, improving disclosure of social and environmental impacts, and placing greater emphasis on long-term sustainable investment and development. Fifth, and fundamentally, we must do more to harness the potential of innovation and the power of our restive youth. From technological innovations to new agricultural practices, young leaders are accelerating SDG implementation across the globe and finding new approaches to age-old development challenges. In Kenya, for instance, young leaders have harnessed solar power to provide irrigation kits and cold storage units to smallholder farmers, thereby significantly increasing their productivity. Innovation at all levels, including by leveraging new technologies, is essential to our quest to implement the SDGs in a sustainable manner. Mobile banking, for example, has become a fast, inexpensive, and convenient tool enabling millions of customers, especially our women in rural areas around the globe, to benefit from previously inaccessible financial services. The SDG Global Councils, for example, are bringing together innovative solutions and mobilizing the resources to implement the SDGs. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, 2019 is a milestone year for the first stocktake of the SDGs. It must be a year of leadership. It must be a year of sustainable engagement. It must be a year of accelerated action and concrete results in the lives of people. I'd like to thank the World Bank and the OECD for their support in this journey. And thank you once again for your leadership, Abdullah and the team. Let's keep working together to ensure that the promises of 2030 Agenda are a reality in people's lives. I thank you.